Hi there everyone, this is just a quick tutorial, a quick explanation of everything that was sent out in the Advent packets for our families. Advent begins on November 29th. Advent is the season of waiting, it's a season of preparation, getting ready for Christmas. So there are 4 weeks of Advent, and so all of our families should have received a packet in the mail that included an Advent devotional, devotions that you can do with your family. Maybe every Sunday of Advent, maybe it's kind of like your Sunday school activity, taking the place of that. The devotions are pretty short and simple, but they are some good conversations and good questions that are posed that are great for all ages. There was also an Advent Shadowbox theater. Now the Shadowbox theater is mostly what I'm going to focus on here today. The Shadowbox theater, you should receive many pieces of designs that are on cardstock. And those cardstock pieces, the directions are actually in the Advent packet that we sent out, but I found it was helpful to kind of practice going through it. So I cut out all of my pieces already. I colored them and I cut them out. You fold them on 2 different lines here. There are these 2 different lines. And when you fold those pieces over, you're also going to tape the back of them together. So I'm going to get out some tape. This is going to be the frame for your Shadowbox theater. And with your Shadowbox theater, you can act out the different stories for Advent. And the scripts are included in the Advent packet, so you can read those scripts, you can change your voices and have as much fun with it as you want. But I just use tape, double-sided tape. I'm going to tape these together, but you can also just use glue if you have like stick glue or whatever you have in your house. So all of those have been put together. These are my 2 sides. These are the sides of the Shadowbox theater, and this is the bottom, and then we have the top, your 2 long pieces, obviously. And what we're going to do is we are going to put our Shadowbox theater together. Now, one way you can do it is you are going to kind of place these 2 ends together and you can tape them. They say to kind of insert, you see how like, the 2 pieces come together. You can insert the bottom piece into the top. That way it's like fully connected. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to do that real quick. So now we have our beautiful frame built for our Shadowbox theater, and now we're going to add. You should have a piece of vellum in your Advent packet. If you don't have this, it got ruined, anything like that, you can always just use parchment paper or even wax paper, and you are going to tape it to the inside of the box just like that. So I'm going to take a minute to do that. And there you have it, folks, our Shadowbox theater. You can see how it's just going to sit up just like that. Sits on its own. Yeah. So there are different pieces that go with this awesome Shadowbox theater. One of them is your kind of like town of Bethlehem, city of Bethlehem. I think this is going to go behind at some point, but you can, color this out, maybe tape it to your vellum. Read the story to see maybe where you want to put this in the Shadowbox theater. Now, there are also a bunch of little puppets that you are going to make. And there are sheep and wise men, there are angels, there's a star and trees, and, the baby Jesus, of course, for Christmas. So far, I've only cut out the angel, Mary, and Joseph. And I've already colored them. I cut them out in 2 different ways. This way is a very detailed way of cutting it out. You could even cut out the inside of the halo. That seemed like a lot of work. So if you look really closely, I don't know if you can see that, but I actually poked holes in the halo so that light would shine through it if I put a flashlight behind it. So you can always do that. I just used a push pin to do that. Now, once you have that ready to go, you're also going to need, there should be some stir sticks, or you can use toothpicks in case you lost these. I'm actually going to break these in half, and I'm going to tape them to the back of my puppets, just like so. Look at that, ready to go. You can also cut out some styrofoam. I had some extra styrofoam from some package I got a long time ago. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out a chunk of this, and it's gonna become the base for my puppet. That way I don't have to put the whole kit away. I can actually leave it out as one of my nativity sets throughout the season of Advent. So I'm gonna cut little pieces of this out for each of my puppets, and they'll have their own base to hold them upright. If you're looking for just a simpler way of cutting out your puppets, I literally just did a nice little frame around them. That might be easier for the little kids to cut theirs out. Just make big circles around each of the puppets, and that'll work just fine. It doesn't have to be super perfect or exactly to the line of the puppet, but I'm gonna go ahead and add my stick, my puppet stick, to the back of my Joseph. So there's a script to go with every single day of the Shadowbox Theater. There's week 1, you're supposed to put your Shadowbox together. Week 2, 3, and 4, there are scripts for each of those days, and you'll see them in your packet. That includes the instructions for your Shadowbox. It looks like, if I can get to the front page of this packet, looks like that. So everything will be in there. Then you have your devotions. These are the weekly devotions that you can do as a family. Talks about the importance of both light and darkness. It's an important conversation, I think, especially for little kids, to understand, not to be afraid of the dark, that there are good things that come with both. And let's see here. There's also, your Advent packet should have had a sheet like this in here, St. Matthew's Months of Service. And on the back of that was a big, long list. Pull that off. There's a big, long list of all the wonderful things you can do to serve your neighbors and to share God's love in our community this season. Some of those items might be writing cards. You should have had some cards in your packet. You can decorate your own cards, mail them to whoever, share them with whoever. And there's also an Advent calendar that's included in your Advent packet. I'm going to be making posts that coincide with that Advent calendar every day starting December 1st. So those will be posted on Facebook and Instagram. If you follow us there, you'll be able to see those, and maybe you can share those with your kids, with your family. And I hope everybody enjoys doing this Advent Shadowbox Theater. We have 4 families who are going to be sending in videos of their Shadowbox Theater, and I can't wait to see those. I'm so excited. I hope you enjoy and have a happy Advent.